Hi everyone, we won't bother with all that introduction this time, but apologise for the technical hitch. I'm just delighted to hear that it wasn't all my fault, and that we'll have continue the conversation, and I hope that people join in as well. And I apologise for those people who just got completely uninterested, which I would understand, given that we bailed out partway through it because we had audio issues. But those audio issues hopefully have been resolved. And just to prove that that's the case, we'll bring in Avery. And I just want people to tell me whether or not they could hear him. So, hi, Avery. Back again.
Yeah, it appears the problem was on my computer, so I hope I've got it resolved. So if you can let us know, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, it appears to be okay, I guess, from my audio thingo. So hopefully it'll be working out fine. So let's get back. So we'll get just...
Earlier you were able to hear me and the audience still couldn't. So
yeah. So hopefully it's better right now. We were talking about that 10-point plan that I was having a look on Al Jazeera. And just as a reminder for those people who weren't aware, the plan is really more about what Israel could be doing in order to address this particular issue. What sort of things Israel responsible for, which is Israel army needs to reform, Israel politics and public sphere need to be de-radicalised, their military leaders must be tried at the criminal court, Gaza must be opened up. And I think all these things, don't know how you see this, Avery, but I think all these things are quite valuable and are things that we should acknowledge as being reasonable.
Yeah, I think they're all reasonable. As I was saying before, I can't see Israel. They will never give up Jerusalem.
No.
The Palestinians don't want to give up Jerusalem. The Israelis might pull out the West Bank. They should pull out the West Bank. But they will never give up Jerusalem. And if you look at the history of that region, the Jews were there long before the Palestinians were. Right?
Yeah.
So if anybody had a right to the land, it would be the Jews, because they were there that much longer. You know, like they were there 3,000 years ago. Palestinians weren't.
Yep. So, but were they seen as Jews, or were they seen as Arabs?
The people.
The people who lived in the area, were they seen as Jews or?
They were Semitic people. All Arabs are Semitic people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you talk about anti-Semitism, you're talking about, and everybody thinks anti-Jew.
Yeah.
But the Arabs are a Semitic people. They're all supposed to be descended from the Shem, one of the sons of Noah.
All right. Right.
Yeah.
So anti-Semitism should be referring to most Arabs. Is that right? Is that what you're saying?
Well, strictly, put my pedantic hat on. Yes.
Oh, okay. There's a revelation for all concerned. We've got a number of people back. We've got, Avery, we have, just to highlight this fact, we've got a number of people back online. So we've got 4 or so. And look, for those of you like PWR who've come back online, we're grateful that you've returned, because you and I were thinking, oh God, this is a dud. What are we going to do? So, okay, so we've got this 10-point plan, I guess, mate, that Al Jazeera have put forward. I don't know who put it forward for them. It's a Palestinian plan. Let's put it that way. So that's their 10-point plan, which is really about, I guess, it's about Israel taking responsibility for the shitty things that they've done and acknowledging that. But, Avery, I started off this, and this is what I want to talk about. I started off our default feed earlier by saying that we need to differentiate between taking a stand for Palestinians and whether or not that represents, because you're anti what the Israel government have done, whether that means you're anti-Semite. And I was just saying earlier that I posted a post which was about Hamas and that post received bugger all views. Yet the people that did watch it said that they didn't know that I had those views. Well, of course I got those views, but I'm also I'm anti-Hamas, and I'm anti-Israel. So is it possible? So is that possible in this confused, defunct, stupid friggin' world that we live in? Is it possible to be anti both?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. That's the end of that discussion. We won't bother carrying it any further.
Yes, I think it is, because you're not anti the Jewish people as a people. You're anti the Jewish government, what the Jewish government is doing in Gaza.
Yeah. I'm definitely not. I'm not anti. Look, the only people that I'm anti are those people that act badly. Those people that are violent, that try to destroy and inhibit the free speech and the behaviour of others. And that includes terrorists, believe it or not. And it includes politicians, which we'll be talking about in a moment, in terms of free speech and having rallies. So I'm against all of that. Right? I'm a pacifist. So I agree that that we need to find more harmonious and peaceful ways to coexist. That's my goal in life. So if I see someone acting badly, whether you're a Palestinian or an Israel or Hamas or a terrorist or from ISIS, I'll call you out for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does that seem reasonable, or am I just pissing in the wind? But why does it seem so? Why does it explain to me, Avery, why it's so unreasonable for some people to take those views?
In 2025, you've got to be black and white nowadays. It would appear you've either got to be totally for the Palestinians or totally for the Jews, and you can't have any. There's no grey area. You can't support the Jews because you don't think they should be suffering terrorist attacks, and you can be opposed to what the Jews are doing because the way they're going into Gaza and slaughtering people.
Yeah, but my point is that
you're not allowed to think that way.
But is it the Jewish? But it's not the Jewish people per se that are doing the story. It's the IDF and the governments and some of their right wing ideology that's causing the split. That's causing the problem. Yeah, there are a lot of Jews. There are a lot of Jews in Tel Aviv who disagree profoundly with what's happening in Gaza.
Are they anti-Semitic?
Well, clearly not.
Well,
no,
they
not.
Must be because they oppose what's happening in Gaza, which Israel is doing. So they must be anti-Semitic.
Well, I guess if
you think about the argument, these people are not, the people who are attacking you. Right? You think about their argument. If you say something against Israel, you must be anti-Semitic. These people in Tel Aviv who are opposed to what Israel is doing in Gaza are speaking against Israel. So using that person, whoever it was that said this to you, using their logic, those people in Tel Aviv must be anti-Semitic.
And actually, not just those people talking against me. I'm talking about like friggin' Sky News. Sky News comes up with that bullshit all the time. That for whatever reason, if you hold a counter view, go on.
Using Sky's logic, then Sky News logic. If you speak against Israel, you must be anti-Semitic. These people in Tel Aviv speaking against what Israel is doing in Gaza must be anti-Semites.
Yeah.
Because they're speaking against what Israel's doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's kind of like it's really difficult. Well, I guess what I'm finding, Avery, is that it's really difficult to have conversations that are rational conversations when one side is saying, you can't have Palestinian rallies, pro-Palestinian rallies, for example, because that's attacking, that breeding, that's adding fuels to the flame around anti-Semitism. So you can't do it. It's just friggin' bizarre that these people. Sorry.
So we shouldn't have pro-Israeli rallies because that's adding fuel to the fire about anti-Palestinians.
Well, isn't that's Avery, that's a fascinating point, because the reality is that we don't have pro-Israeli rallies. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah, well, because most people are opposed to genocide.
Yeah. What would you be? And when you think about it, funny that you should mention it. I was only thinking about this morning when I was preparing for today. And believe it or not, I do prepare for these sessions, even though it doesn't look like it sometimes. But I was only thinking, what if there was a pro-Israeli rally? Would that be more dangerous, and would there be more violence because of that rally than there are because of an anti or a pro-Palestinian rally?
I think that might depend upon where you are. In the United States, I think it'd be a very dangerous thing to do.
Yeah.
Right? Because anybody that turned out to oppose them, a counter protest supporting the Palestinians, I could see a huge amount of violence erupting from that. Here, I don't know that we'd get the sort of violence I expect you to see in the United States, but we do have our shitheads who are exactly the same sort of mindset.
And I think that the United States is just a different kettle of fish. When you've got the sort of clowns running the show, what can one expect? And they're looking for some violent response, so they can always act negatively about it. But here in Australia, there certainly is a sense, I guess, that if there was a pro-Israeli rally, then I think there'd be so many the pro-Palestinian people that would turn up that it would turn into sort of like it would be a bun fight.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if there's a pro-Palestinian rally, a pro-Israeli rally, I wouldn't go to that. Right? If there's a pro-Palestinian one, I might do.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, fair enough.
But if they start throwing bottles at each other and stuff like that, then I'd walk away.
Yeah, and well, so would I. Frankly, I don't want to be caught up in that because I'm too old. But there's someone raised this.
You're too old.
Well, I don't know whether too old is the only reason, but it's one of them.
Yeah.
So there's this Zionism is similar to Christian Seventh-day Adventists. Seventh-day Adventists. So would you agree with that or not?
In some ways, yes.
All right.
The Seventh-day Adventists, I mean, they're talking about the seventh day is the advent of Jesus and shit like that, I think.
Right.
I don't know too much about the Seventh-day Adventists, except that Mormonism was invented to make them look sane, and then Scientology was invented to make the Mormons sound sane.
Yeah, PWR raises an interesting question here as well. I don't know if I can bring this up. No, can't get rid of that one.
Nope.
Try again. The trouble is the Jews have a history of being oppressed and hated, etc. I wonder if they suffer from a bit of victimhood, So it's no great surprise that they will shout anti-Semitism at anything and everything. So have they got a victim complex, do you think?
They've got a...
I don't want to put down... I don't want anybody to yell at me now and say I'm putting down Jews. I'm not. I'm just asking the simple question.
They do have a 2,000-year history of being persecuted.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it's not 2,000 years. It's since the invention of the Catholic Church about 1,700 years ago. Yeah. But they do have a history of persecution. They couldn't go anywhere without persecution, So I've got a great deal of sympathy for them in that sense. Everything was always that Jew's fault, always that Jew. Obviously, the most famous application of that was Hitler in the 1930s and 40s.
Yeah.
What Dee said last week, that it's a guilt complex for the persecution of Jews for 2,000 years.
And I think we've got to I agree with you. I'm very sympathetic to the cause of any religious group that has suffered that sort of continual violence, abuse, and fear for some reason. I don't understand why people are fearful of the Jewish religion. I don't get it, or Jewish people in particular.
Are Hindus anti-Semitic? Mostly not.
What's Hindus got to do with it, Avery?
I'm just saying, most Hindus are not anti-Semitic.
Right.
The people who are anti-Semitic are the Muslims and Christians. Right? Most anti-Semitism falls in one of those two groups.
All right.
I think it comes. Forget that the Jews say they're the chosen people. Forget that. It was only in the early 90s or the late 80s that the Catholic Church forgave the Jews for killing Jesus. Right? Mm-hmm. I think a lot of the anti-Semitism in among the Christian people comes from the fact that the Jews were Christ killers. It doesn't occur to them that if the Jews hadn't had Jesus killed, they wouldn't have a frickin' religion, right?
That's the point of the day, I reckon.
Yeah. And with the Muslims, it's a pathetic fight over who is the rightful descendant of Abraham, a guy who nobody can prove ever existed, right?
Well, he must have existed, Avery, because he's written in the Bible. He must exist.
Yeah.
As were we.
Because this is the Lord of the Rings.
That's right. As we were all made within 7 days.
Yeah. With the Muslims, Abraham was married to Sarah. She was barren, was the word that they like to use. I should be saving this for when you and I talk about religion.
Oh, we will be doing that over the next week or so. People stay tuned.
Yeah. Abraham was married to Sarah. She was unable to bear children. Abraham has got to have a son to inherit, So Sarah says, take my handmaiden Hagar, have sex with her, she'll produce a son for you. So he has sex with Hagar. She produces a son, which he calls Ishmael. And then God decides, change my mind, Sarah, you can get pregnant now. So she gets pregnant with Abraham, and she gives birth to a boy called Isaac. So under what they said was Isaac inherits, Haggai's son Ishmael can't, because he's not. Haggai was not married to Abraham, therefore he can't inherit. And they've got a 3,000 year, well, they're basing on events that allegedly happened 3,000 odd years ago, about who's the rightful heir of Abraham. It's a fucking pathetic argument.
So, well, we could argue that about the whole Bible, I guess. But it is worth reminding our viewers that Avery will be doing a total 1 hour or so, maybe a 3 hour session, I don't know how long it's going to last, Avery, on religion and all the work that he's done over the years on debunking it all.
I could do 3 hours on Noah's Ark.
Right, okay. Well, we'll float that boat later, mate. So let's just change track a little bit. I just want to take up this issue around the Palestine and the Opera House. So this is the court blocks Palestinian Opera House protest. So this is actually where the court has decided that there should not be a rally on at the Opera House itself because of crowd crush. So people, it's too small an area. If you've got they estimated, I saw the other day, they estimated something like 10,000 people for the walk across the bridge the other day, or a few weeks ago, and they got 90,000. So now the courts are saying, well, if you say you're going to have 10,000 people turn up, how do you know that that's the number when, you've had 10 times that many people turn up at a previous rally? So even though they say there's only 10,000 people, the judges don't buy that. And so they're now saying, well, look, we can't, we shouldn't have the rally there. But it doesn't mean you're not going to have a rally or a protest. It just means that you're not specifically allowed to have that rally there. So I'll just bring that up again. So they blocked the planned pro-Palestinian march that was expected to result in tens of thousands of people descending on the Opera House. Well, that ain't going to happen. Three judges, in a unanimous reach, the three judges agreed the public safety risk of the participants and other members of the public is extreme in light of the likely number of protesters and the capacity and physical constraints of the Opera House forecourt. I get all of that. But does it mean that it is unlikely for there to be a rally? Because there are other locations they could choose, other routes they could choose in order to have their rally. But it just go on. Any comments about all that?
Yeah, I was just going to say I agree with the judges. If there's a safety risk, don't do it there. But there are, as you said, there are plenty of other places where they could stage it. I mean, they could have the rally marching down. Marching through the city centre, shut down the city centre for a few hours. They've done it before. They can do it again.
Yeah, and the likelihood is that I think that's what will happen. What the courts then now have decided that if anybody contravenes this particular order, which is about protesting at the Opera House, then they will be arrested, and that's where conflict is likely to be. So it does say actually that the prohibition order exposes protesters to potential criminal sanctions if they forge ahead with the march. I don't know whether that's if they forge ahead with the march when it begins or when it enters the Opera House. Do not know.
Well, yeah.
I'll just read this bit. Assistant Police Commissioner Peter McKenna told the court on Wednesday he had significant concerns about ingress and egress from the Opera House forecourt that's coming and going and has disaster written all over it. He said 40,000 to 100,000 people congregated at the site was impractical, and I don't disagree with him there. But what I do want to take us to is the argument that I hear from Sky News all the time, that it is simply wrong to have a march. It's simply wrong, I'll reframe that. It's simply wrong to have a pro-Palestinian march.
It's absolutely not wrong to support Palestine.
That's right.
Have a pro-Palestinian march.
Okay.
How about we have an anti-Sky News march?
Oh, look, I tell you what, I'll put that to our viewers because I reckon that would be a success. Yeah. I really do. And let's put up flags of Sky News and banners of Sky News and then burn them.
Yeah.
I reckon that would do well.
Just their flags or images of some of the people.
Oh, definitely images of some of the people. I can see.
Design, number one.
Oh, I don't see all that much. James Morrow would be a good one to hang up. Rowan Dean, love to see him strung up.
Dean.
Peter Panahi. So
Reed Panahi.
Yeah. So there's a whole lot of them that I think would be worthwhile doing that too. But I guess the point is that the message to me that is being conveyed is that rallies are wrong when we disagree with the content and the reason for them being there.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, the Sky News and the Panahis of this world and Andrew Dolt and Rowan Dean, they are Trump through and through. Trump has said, if you disagree with me, I'm going to, Jimmy Kimmel says something that Trump didn't like, so he gets him shut down. Stephen Colbert says something that Trump didn't like, so he gets him shut down. If you're opposed to what Trump says, I'm going to send the FBI after you.
And I reckon,
I could see them people like Panahi advocate and Rowan Dean advocating that the government here did exactly the same thing.
Just what I was going to say. I think that they are that one of the things that we never talk about with regard to Sky News is the fact that they're anti-democracy.
Yeah.
And, us now talking about the way they respond to these protests is a clear indicator. So what they do is they'll say, I'm free speech. I'm as free speech as anybody else. I believe that everybody should have the right to say whatever they say. And then they do their but or their however. But if you're going to hold these rallies, they've done it the wrong time. So there's this thing, like with the gun control stuff in the United States, when someone gets shot, the Republicans would recall by saying, well, we can't talk about it now, it's too soon.
Yeah.
So, it's about October the 7th comes on, we can't have a rally now because, it's disrespectful. I kind of, to some extent, I agree with that. It probably was the wrong time. But nevertheless, it's always the wrong time to have a conversation about these issues, even though these people advocate that they believe in free speech. They believe in their speech.
Yeah.
They don't believe in other people's speech.
And Sky News are the same.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And the Liberal Party here and the Nationals, they're going the same way.
Yeah, they are. And I have thanks for that. That's a good segue.
I knew you wanted to talk about the Liberal Party, so that's why I thought.
Thanks, mate. You did that. You did it. This is teamwork. So as Europe falls to the right, HDLA are at odds about what it means for the Liberals. Michaela Cash is not a politician who can accuse of lacking energy. Anyway, I won't talk about her. So when Parliament resumed after a month on break on Tuesday, the opposition Foreign Affairs spokeswoman was raring to go. Senate estimates are underway in Canberra, offering coalition and crossbench senators a rare opportunity to probe public servants about how government decisions are made. And they have, Avery, taken the mickey out of Penny Wong as a result of these things as well, because it is an opportunity for politicians to question politicians outside of question time, and they do give them a drilling. But I guess the point is that this particular episode here was about ISIS brides. So I don't know whether you can see this. So Cash's focus was the role of a group of so-called ISIS brides and their children to Australia last week after they fled camps in Syria. Now, one could argue, and the Liberal Party have, and this is where the Liberal Party is so, it's just crazy, man, because if you're an Australian citizen, you cannot be un-Australian, if you like.
You can.
How can you?
I'm an Australian citizen, and it could be stripped from me. You're an Australian citizen.
If you're born in Australia.
Born here.
Yeah. Okay, so if I was born... Okay, I'll reframe it. If I was born in Australia and I carry an Australian passport, I am Australian citizen.
You can't be stripped.
And I wonder, does it apply to if you're born of parents that are Australian citizens, but you might be born overseas?
If you're an Australian, you inherit your citizenship from your parents.
Okay. So if you're born, even if you're born overseas, you would still be Australian citizen. So
a good example would be an Australian woman giving birth in the Australian embassy, because all of a sudden she's pregnant, and all of a sudden she goes into labour and delivers the baby in the embassy. That kid is Australian because he's living on Australian property.
Yeah, I got two nephews.
She could be Swiss, and the father could be a Korean, but because he was born in the embassy, that's Australia. That is Australia.
Yeah, I've got two nephews who were born in Canada, and they're Australian citizens as a result. So
they're Canadians.
And Canadians, they've got dual citizenship. They have. So my point being, though, getting back to the real issue here, the real issue is that you have, to some extent, these women who were Australian, born in Australia, who decided to go off and marry these terrorists. Not a good move. but nevertheless,
No.
you know, people fall in love with prisoners and a whole lot of other shit that happens as well. So who knows why they're doing it? But go on.
These women,
Yeah,
when they went to Syria,
yeah.
did they take Syrian citizenship?
Doubt it. They were part of ISIS.
Oh. Yeah, I doubt it as well. But if they took Syrian citizenship, then they may be able to be stripped of
Well,
their.
there wasn't much of a Syrian government at the time. No, they were fighting for their partners were fighting for ISIS. So I doubt it. So anyway,
correct me what I said before. You couldn't be stripped of your Syrian citizenship, your Australian citizenship. If you went to the UK and took UK citizenship, right, you can be stripped of your Australian citizenship. They're not allowed to make you stateless.
Yeah, that's my point. That's what I was going to start saying initially.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying initially, that you cannot be stateless. So the question remained: what should the government do if these women, after the war is finished, because the war's finished in Syria, sort of, the ISIS battle they want to come home and they've got children, bring the children home. Well, I guess. Maybe some of these women would accept that they made a mistake, mainly because their partners have died, and they're not bringing back their partners. But these people have a right to live here, whether we like it or not. And I can't see, personally, I mean, I haven't met any of these women, so I wouldn't know. Neither is anybody in Parliament, so they wouldn't know either. Only ASIO would know who these people are to any extent, I guess. But I wouldn't imagine, for example, that they're going to be carrying AR-45s or they're planning to blow places up.
Yeah, I doubt it.
And they're closely monitored. They're closely monitored as well.
Yeah. The other thing that's to take into consideration, say that if you say the kids can't, she can't come back to Australia because she's bringing her kids with her. Now you're punishing the kids for something that they had no control over.
Yeah, absolutely. And why couldn't the kids have the opportunity to grow up in this country as opposed to on some desert in Syria somewhere?
One thing I would want to see them do is, I'm saying I want to see it. Gonna throw it out and see what you think. That bring these women back, but then they've got to go through a de-radicalisation program.
They may. I don't know about this because we don't know what ASIO do. But that may be a proposition put to them, or it's forced upon them anyway. We don't know. We don't know. The point I wanted to make about all of this kerfuffle is that there's two issues that they've had in Parliament this week, which have fascinated me. This is one issue that they've had in question time, and they've bombarded, and the response has always been, Avery, well, actually, the reality is these people still belong to, they're still Australians, whatever, that we don't help them to get back, but we vet them and we do a lot of other things in order to make sure that they're managed when they get here and so on. It was really a simple issue that was quickly resolved through explanation, but they think the Liberal Party would let it go because the Liberal Party have nothing that they can grapple with at the moment. So the other issue I just want to talk about quickly. So the other issue was O. The fact that there's been these Optus outages, and the poor old minister, she did really well, I thought, in handling it, but she got hammered about O as if she herself was responsible for the system going down, and unfortunately 4 people had died as a result of all of that. But my point is, this is all they've got.
Yeah. I mean, what's his name? U.S. President long ago, Truman. On his desk, what did he have? The buck stops here, right?
Yeah, that's right.
If this person's the federal minister for telecommunications, the buck stops with anything that goes wrong with it in the system, right? But the Liberals going on the way they've been doing, it's ridiculous. It's as though the suggestion is almost that she went in there and did something to sabotage the O system.
Well, that's what they'd have. That's exactly what they'd have you believe.
Yeah.
This is stupid shit that they're
I
carrying
mean,
on
she
with.
is in there every day checking on. She's the one that services the equipment that they got in there.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
she's not. You know,
Yeah, and,
there was,
and as a result, so this is Annika Wells, and as a result, she has implemented a whole host of processes that are designed to prevent this from happening, and assured and has gained assurances from all the telcos that this will not happen again. So
that
they've
is her
done,
job.
yeah, the problem has been discovered.
Yeah,
Let's solve the problem. But oh
yeah.
no, this is what all the Liberal Party have, is that it is their fault. So that was the other. So there's two issues in Parliament today, and I just can't understand where the Liberal Party are coming from. They'll never win elections as long as they keep bantering around this sort of bullshit. The
And
the,
her.
the final thing I want to talk about, which is something that you would, that I think this is something that you're gonna love this. So this is, and I'll show this to you. I don't know if all this comes. Yeah, Stephen Miller has said Donald Trump has plenary authority, but what does that actually mean? I guess you know what plenary authority is.
I know what plenary authority is. Yeah.
Yeah. So
He
for
can
our
do what
viewers,
he can do what he wants.
yeah, it's everything. I can disregard the law, the courts. I can make decisions. Those decisions are going to be upheld. Blah blah blah. And though I wanted to talk about so Avery. I
Do you
wanted.
really want to hear my opinion of Stephen Miller?
Oh please, because I'm pretty sure it's mine, and probably anybody else who knows who this blinking Goebel is. Yeah,
He's
go for it.
He is living proof that you can get pregnant through anal sex.
Oh, Jesus.
He
Well,
he is the scum of the earth.
he is, isn't he? Isn't he revolting?
He looks. If you look at him, right, and go back 3 generations to great granddads or great great granddads, Joseph Goebbels, right?
Yeah.
He is the driving force behind everything that Pam Bondi's doing right now.
Yeah.
She's just I'm not gonna say it. She is pathetic. Kash Patel, he does what Stephen Miller tells him. Rubio, he's doing things that he gets from Stephen Miller. That moron Hexeth. There's another name of the guy that runs the Customs and Border Patrol and DHS. Homan, doing what Miller says. A lot of these executive orders come straight out of the single brain cell that Miller's got in there. Right?
Yeah.
He is the stereotypical fascist. He ticks all 14 boxes, just like Trump does, of what a fascist
And
is.
why can't people see this? Like, like in normal administrations, a guy like him, with the mentality that he has and the intellect that he hasn't, one would think that he would have been gone in a day. But
Yeah.
oh no, they persist with this dude for reasons that I guess we can all understand. Is because he's actually Trump's henchman, basically.
I'd go as far as to say that Trump is his henchman.
Yeah, don't disagree with that. Good analysis.
No original ideas coming out of Trump's head nowadays.
That's true. Never has been.
No. Coming
So
from,
is
I don't know if you saw me sort of do this a moment ago. It's just because I just remembered how somebody described Stephen Miller on the TV today.
Yep.
A dildo with ears. A dildo with ears.
Someone here, where is it? PWR described him as a Voldemort. What a scary dude, every which way, and he is too. He's horrible, absolutely horrible.
He does. He just looking at him makes my skin crawl.
Yeah, he's a revolting human being, and yet he's given someone AOC referred to him as 4 foot 6 inches, and and that's got him really upset apparently because he's got this
Yeah,
small man complex,
he's not that tall.
and is small in lots of areas. So I'm told, without any real photographic proof. But who looks at dick pics? So,
Yeah.
but I thought that was an interesting one. I thought you'd like that actually, Avery, given how much you love this dude. So he was on TV, and he was asked. So here's the question. We'll just go through this and finish off. Does the administration still plan to abide by that court ruling? The administration filed an appeal this morning, he says, and then the CNN says, Stephen, can you hear me? Because he's gone so silent because he mentioned the word, I think.
You've called the district judge's ruling blocking the deployment of National Guard in Oregon legal insurrection. Does the administration still plan to abide by that ruling?
Well, the administration filed an appeal this morning with the Ninth Circuit. I would note the administration won an identical case in the Ninth Circuit just a few months ago with respect to the federalizing of the California National Guard. Under Title 10 of the U.S. Code, the president has plenary authority.
No,
Stephen?
he doesn't.
Stephen? Hey, Stephen, can you hear me?
Oh, you gotta
It
love
seems, Stephen, I apologize. It seems like we're having a
You reckon? So I'm trying to get you back, Avery. Where are you? It's a classic. And he sits there, and as people pointed out in some of the responses I've seen, there wasn't a technical difficulty because you still see him blinking. He wasn't frozen. He was still, but as soon as he said plenary, he knew he'd stuffed up.
Yeah.
And, oh, God, what a joke the whole thing is. But that's America. As my wife keeps saying to me, Avery, what a bunch of stupid people.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And you're in agreement.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. There's a whole bunch of stupid people in the United States. I mean, proof, 3rd of November 2024, fascism knocked on the door in the United States. 4th of November, they opened the door and let it in.
I like it.
How stupid can you get?
Exactly. Oh God, we could talk for hours about Portland and other stuff, but we've kind of run out of time. And
can I finish with one thing?
Sure.
I just got Trump's approval rating.
Oh,
Trump's
sorry. Hold
approval
on.
rating.
I've got that here. Do you want me to show it?
You got it? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I've got it here.
Trump's approval rating.
Here we go. Is that the one?
Yeah. That's the one. I think that's absolutely spot on.
Yeah, trying to run it. Source to not the figures around the right way, and there's so much. I think we should do a session just on U.S. politics alone. I reckon we haven't done one for a while, have we? Just on U.S. politics.
Last week
we should because it's a lot of fun.
I've just been thinking, how about next Wednesday?
What's next Wednesday?
Talk about Big GJC and Spooky.
Oh, about religious stuff.
My views on religion. How about
that? Okay. We'll do a live feed. What time do you want to make it?
2 o'clock till 7 or 8.
2 o'clock to 7. Oh God. Okay. No, and we'll put it up. So we'll do it. I've got a meeting. Oh no, can't do that. I've got a meeting at 1 o'clock. So
we don't have to do it Wednesday. It's just a thought.
No, we could do it. What about Monday?
Monday we've got people coming round. Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays.
We'll do it at Wednesday. We'll do it at Wednesday at 3. How about that?
Yeah.
That'd be right. Okay, everybody. So stay tuned, and we'll get together with Avery and myself, where I will say very little, and Avery will have run of the show, and he's going to talk about what would the topic be, Avery? What would you call it?
Oh, it's just my views on why I despise religion.
All right.
I absolutely despise it. I've got You know,
Well, no need to go into it now, Avery. You don't want to.
now, but basically that's what it is.
Okay.
I've got no time for it.
So if you'd like to, you can have a debate with Avery, conversation with Avery through the comments section, or if you really disagree with Avery and you want to come online at some point, I'm sure Avery would be happy to facilitate an online discussion where you're face to face with Avery.
If anybody's I'm sure some of these are Christians or something like that. Bring Jesus with you. I'll talk to him as well.
And why not? Why not? And but look, while you're there, bring the schizophrenic aunt along as well, just to sort of make up the party. Okay, look, thanks, mate. Thanks, mate, for that. Sorry about all the stuff, and I'll just do an exit, and I'll catch up with you in a second.
Yep.
Now, thanks, everybody, for being with me. There's a bit of a stuff up today. I had to come back twice because Avery's audio wasn't working. Wasn't my fault. I was delighted to hear that, actually.
Sound has disappeared.
Sound has disappeared. Still working from this end. So, okay. So thanks everybody for being with me. In the meantime, take care, look after yourselves, and just, I guess, be safe.
I'll be through in a minute, Sasha.